Okay, so on to the very much requested, the very much awaited Ren Money Game Part 3. Lots of people have been asking me to do this. We actually haven't done Ren for a while. I think my last reaction to Ren was, actually I did it with Alex. I can't remember the name of the song. It was absolutely incredible. I've got a lot of catching up to do when it comes to Ren's stuff. I do have to catch up a lot. He has dropped a lot that I have missed. We've just been so busy with series and things like that, but I am going to try and start filtering these in as well. But this is the latest one. Lots of people are saying that this is absolutely insane. I have no doubt. But just let's get straight into it, man. Ren Money Game Part 3. We haven't done 1 and 2 though. We probably have to get to those, but this is the more recent one, so let's go. I can see this is going to be a fucking masterpiece. Great camera work. Okay, wait, the beginning part of this over here is like ridiculous, because if you actually think of Money Game, you think of the corporate world, right? So you think of all the bureaucracy and all that bullshit in the world. And the way he started over here, where he's actually got a talent. So he's actually playing the piano and he's doing what he's meant to be doing, right? But at the end of the day, in the corporate world, you're disposable. So you're taken hostage, and that's what's kind of the representation to me, by those sacks over your head and the ropes, essentially. So like, you're taken hostage by the corporate world, by the money game world, right? But then you're also disposable, right? They'll replace you with somebody else, regardless of your talents or whatever else. And it's a common business phrase. Like, you know, no one's indispensable, essentially. So that's actually, I don't know how much that plays into it, but that's quite a clever little start over there, considering we're talking about the money game corporate chessboard of the world. Background. Sorry, so I'm not going to pause this too much from this point on. I'm just going to make another little point. The whole industrial feel behind there, with the plates and the steel and all that kind of thing, which plays into like the manufacturing of it all, and very cold and clinical, right? And this sort of thing where he's kind of like revealing himself in the mirror is also quite telling. I'm going to let it play through quite a bit. I've got a feeling this is going to be like another fucking high Ren story, and I don't want to kill the vibe of it. So let's go back a bit and let's just I'll just try and see if I can sort of package my thoughts and give it to you all in one go and do as minimal pauses as possible.
you a story about a boy named Jimmy. 1 year old and his first words were mine, mine, gimme. 2 years old he was walking, 3 years old walking quickly. 4 years old he was running round the pavements of his city. 5 years old and his daddy told him, listen here son, you gotta learn to be a man. A man, he works for what he wants. 6 years old and he's reading, writing, top of the bunch. And when he's 7, his progression made him student number 1. 8 years old and he's praised for unusual grades. 9, his parents pay for private school to nurture the flame. 10, 11, 12, 13, he ascends and ascends. His daddy tells him, son, money is the means to all ends. 14, solving complex mathematical equations. At 15, IQ 150, still elevating. 16, he develops complex software code that detects weaknesses in cybersecurity protocols. 17, and he sells his vision, keeping the
This fucking dude is fucking insane. This dude is so good at what he fucking does. It is actually frightening. Frightening. The way he's telling the story is so fucking clever in terms of the progression that we have. Like, there's nothing wrong with actually the actual teaching of, like, you got to work for what you want. Perfectly fine. But when that actually is considered in the entirety of a capitalistic system, then you start running into a much bigger sort of game over here, and it is basically you become a pawn in a chessboard, right? And it's either you become a pawn, or they'll make you a knight, or they'll put you where they need you to be, and they will sacrifice you for the entire game, right? But that starts from when you're very young. It's the entire system. It's been indoctrinated into your parents and your grandparents and your parents before and the grandparents before that, right? And it's a system that's been passed on, a capitalistic system. I'm assuming he's talking about the capitalistic system, where it just gets passed on, that ideology gets passed on, right? And there's nothing wrong with going and attaining what you want, right? But it kind of, the way the system's designed is for you to sacrifice talent, to sacrifice your true nature to a certain degree for the things that you absolutely love, and to say that there's nothing within your passions and your dreams that's going to make you successful, right? So when they say you got to work hard for what you want, it needs to be within the confines of the system that's been designed for you. So when you start working from when you're a kid, it's like mine. They exploit that because that's what children want. Children naturally are just selfish. They see something, they want something, right? And then they say, that's a good thing, that's a good trait to actually play on. To say, like, I know you want, so you're playing with that instead of actually trying to control that and to make it that it's like a give and take in this world, and to teach them those kind of virtues. It's like, yes, the more you attain, the happier you will be, the better your life will be, right? But what they don't tell you is how you sacrificed your soul for all of that. And that comes from like a child, and from where you learn, and how the education systems need a terrible, it just needs like a massive revamp. So it's from that, it's how that system pushes you across the chessboard, right? But you're not playing the game for yourself. You're actually playing the game for somebody else. At the end of the day, they set the rules for you, right? It's their board. And actually, not even that board is sitting on top of people who actually work. And I actually saw a really cool painting about that, where it was a painting of all these people sort of hunched over on the floor on their knees, and all these corporate elites are playing at chess on all these people's back, right? And they say the one thing that they don't realize is if they stand up, the game is over. But it would require everyone to stand up at the same time, and everyone's too scared to do that. They need that consciousness to create that rebellion in order to stand up and end the game for the corporate elites. But it's been designed purposefully to actually sort of like create and mold their pawns up the rank, right? Because they eventually will use each one of them. And it doesn't actually matter. I mean, they're indispensable. At the end of the day, they can get rid of pieces as and when they want to get rid of pieces, right? And that means you or the next guy doesn't actually matter, as long as it like sort of fits into their needs. And that is something that has been sort of ingrained into us in terms of greed and monetization and always wanting more, the next thing. We're never ever happy with what we have. There's no gratitude for what we have, right? It's always what we don't have that we focus on, right? And that is something that you see from like a child, and that's it's what I don't have that's being focused on, not what I do have.
In cybersecurity protocols, 17 and he sells his vision, keeping the share. Not yet an adult, but he's practically a millionaire. 18 and his daddy tells him, now you're a man. This world don't give a damn about you, so take all that you can. 19, he turns a profit, stocks and shares, invest in product. 20, double down deposits. 21, his income rockets. 22, he learns the truth is just an obstacle to wealth. If you manipulate the data, then the lie will sell itself. 23, a life of luxury.
If you manipulate the data, the lie will tell itself. It's absolutely fucking 100%. And it's crazy because, the one thing that they're very good at telling you is like when you actually bring up an issue, regardless of when you bring up an issue, like, you always hear, but that's an anecdotal thing. They always try to sort of individualize things, or not individualize, they try to isolate things, right? Where you say, well, wait a second, but this happened to this person. Yeah, you're using an antidote over here. It's like it's like, okay, but it happened to that person as well. That's also an antidote. These are all isolated things. It's like, yes, but you know what the fucking plural of antidote is? It's fucking data. Like, that's what it is. You know what I mean? It's like, there's lots of these fucking things going, like, it's happening all around me. It can't all be. It's data. You know what I mean? But it's how they manipulate the data that's insane, and they do it everywhere. They do it absolutely. They do it in big pharma. They do it in big tech. They do it in government. They do it in all of the most powerful institutions. It's how they sell the data to you that it can no longer be trusted, right? Because it's all just to further somebody's agenda. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Anyway, carry on.
Crystal and cocaine. 24, he makes the Forbes list, they're applauding his name. 25, and his daddy tells him, listen here, son, while you're sitting in that palace, that don't mean that you won. 26, a business shift, he switches business to arms. He's 27, dealing nuclear and shells in Iran. 28, inside the Senate, money bought him a seat. He's 29, a role of counsel in the president's suite. Now he's 30, his daddy says you're losing the race. You're just a servant to the king, not even in second place. 31, a big maneuver for his daddy's approval, moving imports over borders from the exports out of Cuba. 32, moving grams, growing kilos to tons. He's 33, filling warehouses with powder and guns. 34, turf war with nobody to stop it.
There's a UK rapper, his name is Akala. I love the fact that he actually spun the globe over here. It's absolutely brilliant, this entire thing over here. But there's an artist called The Collar, and he once said in one of his songs, murder runs the globe, or I actually think it might actually be a song itself where he says murder runs the globe, right? The biggest money, if you actually think that Elon Musk is like the wealthiest man on earth, you're sorely fucking mistaken, right? There are people out there, there are tycoons out there, warlords out there that are worth infinite amounts of money, but infinite more than Elon Musk. What Elon Musk actually has is fucking decimal dust to them. And that's the crazy thing. Those are the people that are actually running the globe, but it just so happens that everything that they're doing to acquire all of that money requires people to die. Right? War makes more money than anything. People die in war. Drugs makes more money than anything. People die taking drugs. And it's all those things that and it's crazy because even if you think about like war, so it's like you're putting all of this money into all of this advanced weaponry, advanced equipment and things like that have absolutely no use but to murder somebody, and it goes out there and the majority of that stuff gets destroyed in war, and that's just cash cow. Like there's no usefulness for those to those things, absolutely nothing, right? In terms of like usefulness to your tax money, like there's absolutely no use unless you're actually defending your own country, right? Which is not something many people are doing outside of wars that are being created abroad that are all by proxy. You know what I mean? It's like those things are just cash cow, and the superpowers make absolute just stupid money on murder. It's not even money. It's like money doesn't run the globe. Murder runs the fucking globe, right? It's the death of people, the exploitation of people, the destruction of their lives. And even if they don't die, it doesn't matter. Like it's like destroying someone's life is akin to murder at the end of the day, even if they are alive at the end of the day. And it all just plays out on this world stage, and no more so than today in terms of what's currently happening today, where it's getting more greedy, and the biggest companies on earth with skyrocketing stocks are, well, they just so happen to be Northrop Grumman, BlackRock, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, all those fucking companies that are all military, they're all part of the military complex that is designed to create wars and to murder people, right, for that. And those are the people that are making money, right? It's the exploitation of the poor man that makes money. And it's crazy how, like, enough is never enough. It's like ever, like you always need more. Right? It comes to a point where it's just about world domination, right? It's about the checkmate. And no one ever gets to the checkmate because they're all playing this game knowing that no one's king's ever going to go down, right? But it's about how many pieces can you eat? You know what I mean? And if you see that you're not winning the game and those pieces aren't going, you're not able to eat the pieces that you want to eat, then you change the rules of the game. You know what I mean? And you think they won't change the rules? If I had to give you a basketball game and I had to tell you, okay, so you're going to play basketball, right? Just layman. I'm going to play a normal basketball game in the middle of somewhere in like a municipal court and stuff like that, and you get the basketball players. But I give one player the opportunity to change the rules of the game in order to win $1 million, right? I'll give you $1 million. You can change the rules of the game. Do you think an honest person won't do that? Of course an honest person is going to do that, right? Because it plays into the human condition. So what do you think the people who are seeking world domination are doing? The exact same thing. Anyway, carry on.
Says with powder and guns, 34 turf war with nobody to stop it. Blind eye from the po-po inside of his pocket. 35, he gets the call. I'm sorry son, but it's your father. Had a heart attack, I'm sorry, he's gone. 36, getting pissed off, abusing his product. 37, eyes glazed, disposition demonic. 38, with a prostitute, a moment of passion. Heating up a silver spoon and then chasing the dragon. 39, getting reckless and hungry for power. Daddy's words are still driving him to kill and devour. Makes a move against the cartel, but the strategy's flawed. They retaliate and leave him in a hospital ward. A bullet buried in his vertebra and one in his leg. The doctor sighs and says, I don't think you'll be walking again. Fuck.
This guy creates fucking plays. This guy should be on Broadway. Genuinely, this man should be on Broadway. No one makes music like this anymore. Like, literally nobody.
Let me tell you a story about a boy named Jimmy. He was 40 and he cursed the words, mine, mine, gimme. 41 he wasn't walking, 42 not walking quickly, 43 never running round the pavements of his city, 44 inside a palace with a mountain of gold. But those riches turn to rubble when perspective evolves. Weighing heavy on his conscience is the value of gold. Lamborghini for a life, trading money for souls. Jimmy followed the code inside the land of the free. Put your hand inside the cookie jar, take more than you need. And his example is exaggerated versions of me. And it's a version of him, and it's a version of she, and it's a version of you. There's no escaping the blame. The way we live is parasitic. Fuck the money and fame. Call the music. This isn't entertainment, this is real life. The way we live is lunacy, community, it declines. Hyperpolarized, always fighting, then we divide. Truth is less important than the money that we designed. Money's an invention. Politics from our invention. They all come from people's ideas. Did I mention? Border's an invention. Law and order fuel the tension. It leads to people killing each other. My solution? Everything is subject to change. We could build utopias if individuals were taught to use their brains. But if we teach kids in schools to always be sheep and put themselves before the herd if there's more money for me, then there's no future I see where the humans
I don't agree that we can build utopia if people would start using their brains, because they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions, but in today's world, the road to hell is actually paved with Ivy League degrees. These are people that are using their brains, and we've had that throughout existence, throughout societies, through empires that have risen and fallen. We've had that people that do use their brains, but they've got specific motives. It's human nature. You're never going to change that, right? We've progressed heavily, but you still have the powers that be. You're still going to have your enemies. No one is going to just kumbaya because you want them to kumbaya. You know what I mean? That is the sad part of the world. And what happens is when we chase this illusion of utopia, which is always beautiful. It's beautiful to think about it, that everyone's at peace and in harmony and working together with each other, and there are no wars and things like that. It's a beautiful thing to think of, but it very often leads to dystopia, because in order to get a utopia, you need to have a universal view, which you'll never ever get from everybody. You're going to have different peoples, different creeds, different ideas, different cultures, different religions. You're going to get that. And in order to get people to buy into one global utopia, you need to wipe away diversity. You need to wipe away the differences between cultures. You need to wipe away the traditions that people have, because people are not going to agree on that. So you're never going to get a utopia. And the more you chase that utopia is the more you need to create a dystopia to get compliance. It's sad, but it is the reality of the world. Anyway.
Then there's no future I see where the humans survive. We're parasites inside a petri dish with cannibal minds. Mold will grow upon the surface and consumes till it dies. And our fate could be the same without this story to the wise. "45. Jimmy comes home out of the rain, soaking wet upon a wheelchair, drinking again. He is everything he wants, he is fortune and fame. He's a fortunate fool with an unfortunate fate. With a 45 caliber aimed at his brain. 45 a fitting number cause his age is the same. Here's the words of his father, it's such a damn shame. Then he presses on the trigger of a money game.
This man is incredibly, incredibly intelligent. But it takes a lot more than just intelligence to be intelligent. And Ren is on that side. of the human spectrum. Fuck me. Peace.